So the Palestinian Authority is not doing anything, but what are the West Asian nations doing? Behind the scenes, they're all trying to broker peace, and leading this cause is Saudi Arabia. Today, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia jumped into action, Mohammed bin Salman. He spoke to the Iranian president, Ebrahim Raisi. They spoke on the phone, and this is the first time the two leaders spoke after their two countries restored ties, Iran and Saudi Arabia. So what did MBS and Raisi discuss? Of course, the need for peace, but also solidarity with Palestine. MBS expressed concern about the situation, about the condition of civilians, and he stressed on the need to adhere to international law. Iran took it one step further. Iran blamed both Israel and United States for what has happened. But these two regional superpowers aside, this conflict seems to have a lot of stakeholders. The likes of Qatar, Egypt and Turkey, they're all trying to broker a ceasefire like we just told you. Hamas seems to be in touch with all of these players. And at the forefront of these efforts is Qatar. That's because they have a connection with Hamas. Qatar hosts Hamas's political office. Their top leadership is in the Qatari capital of Doha. So Doha is working to leverage its connection. They've held conversations with the United States, with Turkey, with Jordan, with Iraq, and even the United Kingdom. And right now, there is not much information about these talks. Many say these were talks of a prisoner swap, the possibility of one. But those negotiations seem to be on hold for now. Then you have Egypt. And this is an important player here because Gaza has 7 border crossings. 6 of them open into Israel, and the 7th one is controlled by Egypt. It opens into the Egyptian border with Gaza. And this is called the Rafah crossing. This crossing is currently closed. Egypt shut it down after Israeli airstrikes. And this is the only crossing in and out of the strip that doesn't open into Israel. So you would expect Egypt to play an outsized role here. In fact, they did broker peace for the region during the 2021 Gaza war. But this time, Cairo seems distracted. It has its own issues to deal with, an election coming up in months. So Egypt does not seem to want to wade into this conflict very much. Reports, in fact, suggest that Egypt has discussed aid with the United States, but it has shot down any plans to create a safe passage for Gazans. Basically, Egypt does not want refugees to flow into its territory. Then you have Turkey. Its President Erdogan says he's in talks with Hamas. He says he's negotiating the release of hostages. Ankara has historically had contacts with Hamas, so this is not new for them. Not much has happened on that front either, but Erdogan has not given up. He's talking to West Asian leaders, the leaders of Israel, Palestine, Lebanon, Qatar, Saudi Arabia and Egypt. Plus, he has condemned the attack on Gaza. Listen to this.
The disproportional attacks on Gaza, devoid of any ethical foundation, may push Israel into an unwanted position it never expected in the eyes of the international community.
Another stakeholder is Jordan, the custodian of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. Jordan has long been a stakeholder in the Israel-Palestine conflict, and this time too, it's no different. It has sent its first aid plane for delivery to Gaza. This plane will fly this aid to the Rafah crossing, but the aid will only go into the strip if it gets permission.
جهود مكثفة وتنسيق من الحكومة الأردنية ووزارة الخارجية والقوات المسلحة والأجهزة الأمنية مع نظيرتها في السلطات المصرية لضمان وصول هذه المساعدات عبر جمهورية مصر العربية إلى قطاع غزة ومن خلال معبر رفح. تم تجهيز هذه الطائرة بمساعدات طبية عبارة عن علاجات ومضادات حيوية وأدوية تستلزم في مثل هذه الظروف ومثل هذه الإصابات.
So West Asian nations have ramped up diplomacy on all fronts. Some are talking to Hamas, some are sending aid. The diplomacy and relief efforts continue here. But some Arab nations are facing a delicate balancing act, especially those who normalize ties with Israel. I'm talking about the likes of the UAE, Morocco and Bahrain. In their countries, the spirit is pro-Palestinian. On paper, they have recognized Israel, but their people side with Palestine. So now they're walking a fairly narrow line. And they have to weigh commitments to Israel with public sympathy for Palestinians. Plus, there's a lot of focus on the normalization deals. The Abraham Accords were supposed to usher in an era of peace in this region. It was supposed to change West Asia. But that's not happened. It did not address the problems that existed at the root of the conflict. The fault lines remain. Normalization equated economic peace to political peace. That assumption turned out to be utopian. Of course, the peace deals are here to stay, but any future deals could be on hold for the foreseeable future.